I mean, what's exciting and interesting about the Cantor is that it has an origin story that's really clear and precise and interesting, where the pivot point is the tragic death of young Leland Stanford. His mother's reaction to that is, I've lost my only child, the children of California will be my children, and I will build something to sustain them in the spirit of Leland Jr. himself, who was this collector and had a great passion for archaeology, art, natural history. My name is Mark Dion, and I'm a visual artist. There's always been a dedicated space here since the beginning to the Stanford family. This collection has been updated several times, so this is the most recent update in which they've invited an artist to take on the question of how we should show this material. The way we're going to display them is a way that will give them a new breath and a new kind of life, and reflect on that history, but also put it in a sort of interesting context about the history and impulse of collecting in general. There's a very rich culture of mourning, really from the 1860s to the 1890s. There's almost a kind of celebration of death in a sense, and people are, of course, experiencing death tremendously through the Civil War, the death of Lincoln, which becomes a kind of national tragedy, through the invention of embalming and the elaborate funeral rituals that happen. So I wanted to create something that really used the kind of apparatus of mourning in a sense. So creating this giant mourning cabinet. A lot of the objects were objects that were in Leland Jr.'s personal museum. And Leland was a typical kind of kid collector. He collected things that inspired him, things that were odd, and in some way he's very much a kind of 19th century boy, right? He is collecting artifacts from battles that are from the Napoleonic War. He's collecting curious things like nails that have merged together under intense heat. He's shooting and stuffing birds. The ranch hands who are working here are finding objects from the original inhabitants of this land and bringing those to him, mortars and pestles. Of course, he's entirely connected to the kind of romantic traditions of things that he's reading, so he's collecting knights in shining armor and swords. So I mean, what you might imagine a 14-year-old boy would collect, but he's not just any 14-year-old boy. He's the 14-year-old boy who has access to resources that are unimaginable. I wanted very much to bring back the spirit of the original collection, which is Leland's museum. I want to open up the meaning of objects. I want to have surprising juxtapositions that you might find in a 14-year-old's museum or a 12-year-old's museum. I want to bring things together that probably hadn't been together before, and to, in some way, put the viewer in the driver's seat in terms of making meaning.
For more, please visit us at stanford.edu.